to the Super Speedway.
Welcome to episode 237 of the Super Speedway podcast, recorded Monday, May 23rd, 2022. I'm your host, Eric Young, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, James Cush. If we sound a little different tonight, it's because I upgraded my microphone, and we've got a new setup here that we're remote, but it sounds like James is right in the room. James, how's it going?
Good, man. If this doesn't work, it's all your fault.
Right.
So,
well, I am showing that you're recording, so I see.
That's good.
I see your audio.
I almost closed the tab to
Oh.
the service we're using, so we gotta make sure we don't do that too.
Yeah.
So
that would put an end to the show immediately.
Well, speaking of putting an end to things, Eric, I think this is the great segue moment of the intro here.
Yeah.
Can we put an end to the All Star race?
Oh my God.
Here we go. I mean, we might as well just get right into it, right?
Yeah, I thought about like all day how I wanted to start this discussion and where I wanted to go with it. But I guess, yeah, let's just jump right into it. This race, I feel like it has run its course completely.
Man.
Why don't we just, before we even talk about the race, why don't we just scrap this weekend, make it a points race, and just be done with it? Let's just add a points race. We want to add tracks, add a points race, and screw the All-Star race.
Yeah, I think more so the All-Star race maybe doesn't need to go, but maybe the racetrack itself might need to go. That might be the first thing I would choose if I had to pick one of those. Man, we had, I don't know if it was high hopes, Eric. Last week we touched on it just a little bit, but we thought maybe the new car can try to save this track, and it just
we were hopeful.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think it happened.
No, it didn't happen for sure. This race was, I don't know. I mean, it was a snoozer at the beginning. Kyle Busch running away with it, and then Kyle Busch blows a tire, wrecks him and Chastain. We'll talk about that in a minute. That was just a hell of a wreck. And then it just, I mean, whoever was in the lead was winning the race. There was no battle for the lead whatsoever. I heard somebody say on Sirius today that they said this morning there was passing, all kinds of passing back in the pack. Well, who the hell gives a crap about? It's the All-Star race. You don't care about 12th place in the All-Star race. You just don't.
Yeah, right. I know. It's, I had Sirius on today too, Eric, and I could only handle so much because everybody's trying to fix it, and I'm like, I don't think you can fix it. I don't know. I think the track's broken. The All-Star race might be broken.
Well, the problem is that we had this race where we would test these things. So we'd test, side by side, or, two wide restarts.
Yeah, we do different things, right?
Yeah, we tested the green, white checker rule. We tested all this stuff. And all these things were gimmicks that we did in the All-Star race to make the All-Star race more exciting. Stages, whatever. Now we've put those all in the race, and the All-Star race is less dull than a regular weekly race.
Yeah, the whole sport's a gimmick.
Yeah, the only way that you can make the All-Star race more interesting is to create these ridiculous rules that nobody understands. And I tweeted during the race the fact that none of the announcers or the professional NASCAR journalists understood how the pit stop worked for the final stage restart. Just proves to you that there is a problem with this system, because these are the guys that are supposed to understand this stuff.
Yeah, I know. If
Sirius NASCAR Radio is calling the wrong winner of the Pit Crew Challenge, because they called William Byron as the winner of the Pit Crew Challenge.
Yep.
If they're calling the wrong winner of the challenge on Twitter, then you have a problem, because the average fan doesn't understand it if Sirius NASCAR Radio doesn't understand it.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, it's Eric, I ignored it going into the, I didn't even care what the format was.
Yeah, me neither. I tried to just avoid it.
My approach to the whole thing was just tell it to me when I'm watching the race. I don't have time to deal with the whole thing. And kudos to Fox, I guess. as
for this, well, maybe. I've got some anti-kudos for Fox too.
I think you know what I'm going to say. But Blaney's hustling around to the checkered flag, and Mike Joy says it, I think, twice in that last lap. He's got to get to the flag before a caution comes out. And that's probably our next segment here.
Well, yeah, let's talk about it. We'll talk about the finish first. because that's what everybody's been talking about. Let's talk about. I want to break this down into two parts, James, because I feel like there's two major discussions here to have when it comes to the last 2 laps of the race. And the first discussion is the caution flag. The second discussion is the window net. So let's avoid the window net right now. We'll talk about the caution flag.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm going to take a different view than I think you're going to take, because I think NASCAR is getting too much criticism on throwing the caution. So we noted, it was noted throughout the broadcast, it was very much explained during the broadcast that the green, white checker rule for the All Star race is different, and that you have to finish under green. Now,
yes.
I do agree that the caution was suspect. However, earlier in the race, we had a wreck where a car cut down a tire on the front stretch, and we've already known that this car doesn't stay in a straight line when it cuts down a tire because there's no interliner.
Right.
And we had a car get launched. Like we've never launched a car in the NASCAR Cup Series before, including at Talladega.
Looked like an Indy car.
Yeah, down the front stretch. So maybe I don't really have a problem with them being a little itchy with the trigger finger when a car gets into the wall and hitting that caution. I think sometimes we wait too long to throw the caution in NASCAR. And I don't know, James, everybody was sitting there screaming at the end. We thought the race was over. I'm watching it live. I saw the lights go on before the car hit the line. I knew the caution was out. I knew the race wasn't over.
Yep.
I mean,
let me push back a little bit.
Go ahead.
Because one, the checkered flag was waving.
But that doesn't matter. He's got to cross the line.
I know. He's got to get to the line.
No different than the white flag.
I know. But also, too, like, we know why NASCAR threw that caution.
Well, yeah.
I'm not.
Well, yeah.
Listen, NASCAR threw safety out the window immediately after that caution flag came out.
Don't get ahead of us. We're gonna get there.
I know, but the NASCAR, Eric, we've battled this one out before. Does NASCAR throw cautions for safety concerns? Sometimes.
Yeah. When it's
not
convenient.
all the time.
When it's convenient.
Exactly. That was a competition-based caution flag, and you're not going to be able to change my mind on that.
No, I don't understand, James, why we don't just have a green, white checker at the end of this race, period.
Somebody was hovering over the button that entire time, waiting for any sort of opportunity.
They were looking for smoke.
It just so happened that 50 feet from the line, the leader was 50 feet from the line, and they saw something, and they mashed that button as fast as they could.
Yeah, I'm okay with them erring on the side of hitting the caution with a couple of the incidents we've seen this year. We saw it at Atlanta with Bubba Wallace. Nearly, I can't remember who it was. Was it Eric Jones that he about took out? Yeah,
I think that was the Eric Jones incident. Yep.
This car, I mean, when it does weird things after it hits the wall because the suspension gets damaged and the tire has no interliner. The
tires are failing at a rate, extremely high rate.
Yeah.
So we'll say that.
So I don't know, James. I guess I don't feel like it's as controversial as what some people are making it out to be, but we didn't look good.
No, we never look good.
We didn't look good at all. No matter how you look at it.
I want a tweeting barrage because I was so upset. And usually I hate when I do that. Yeah,
I know. I did it too, and I did it again today because I was on Twitter.
I was ready to go to bed, and I was super tired. My family and I built this kids' playhouse over the weekend, right? And sufficiently.
You should have done that before the All Star race.
Oh, dude, I
did see pictures of it though. That's quite the unit you got.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm tired from training and getting ready for this race this weekend. I did that thing, and I'm like, okay, great. The race is going to be over. I don't even care how bad it is. I just want it to be done because I have this 10:30. I don't want to watch sports after 10:30 rule.
No.
And it was 10:31. Yeah, it was 10:31, and I'm trying to stand up, getting out of my chair, and I see the caution flag, and I went, "You've got to be kidding me. Here we go." And then it turned into what it turned into. But
and I think the next part is more egregious. So are we done discussing the caution? Do we want to move on to the next thing, or do we want to talk about the caution some more? Oh,
NASCAR would like us to not talk about the caution.
Okay, NASCAR would like us not to talk about the caution, but Scott Miller did talk about the caution after the race. So I have some audio. Here's Scott Miller. This is about 2 minutes long, so bear with us. Here it is.
Oh, I love this audio. Go for it.
Yeah, so obviously I think, everybody knows that we probably prematurely called that yellow flag. The way that works in the tower is that we're all watching around the racetrack, and we make obviously the race director who has the button and makes the call is the final say of when the yellow gets put out. We all watch, and we saw the car and mentioned the car against the wall, riding the wall down the back straightaway, and the race director looked up, and I'm not sure what he saw, but he immediately put it out. So wish we wouldn't have done that, but we did that, and we'll own that we probably prematurely put that caution out.
Do you hear the sound of the bus backing up?
Yes, I did. I heard the whole. Yeah, I can hear the whole thing. All I really heard was blah blah blah. Not my fault. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
This person did this.
That's
really what I heard.
disagree with you, actually. I think NASCAR is happy we're talking about this. I think NASCAR is happy that we're talking about the window net, because I think that we're not talking about the fact that the race sucked.
Oh, that's where. Hold on, let me give you the real time Jeff Gluck.
Yeah,
goal,
is it higher than 10%? Because it was 10% earlier.
I don't
when
know.
checked.
It's gonna break the record. I know that. Hold on, bear with me. It is sitting at 10.6%.
Wow, so it went up a little bit.
Who voted yes on that?
I don't know, man. I don't know,
Trolls.
but Jeff didn't think it was going to be that bad. Jordan Bianchi said 15, and Jeff said he was too low.
Yep.
I can't wait till next week's episode to hear Jeff eat crow on that one.
Yep. Oh yeah, this is great.
All right, are we on to the next topic?
Sure. Yep.
So I think the window net's more egregious. So obviously, you guys all know what happened. Blaney puts his window net down to celebrate, and then, oh yeah, the race is still going. Now you can't get the window net up because these window nets are designed to where they're not supposed to come down. They're locked into place, They're designed to be aerodynamic, just like the car. There's no wiggle in those window nets, and it's actually in the rule book that they're not supposed to bend, essentially. So now Blaney's got to get his window net back up. NASCAR's rule is you have to have a window net up. So here's the thing. So NASCAR decides to let him race with the window net up. I'm using air quotes. You can't see my air quotes, but
it's up. It's up. It's up, but it's not. Let's just say it's not secure.
Fox conveniently didn't give us a close-up camera angle once the race restarted because it was down. It was down after the race restarted. But anyway, so NASCAR decides to let him go, which I think was the wrong decision, James. However, NASCAR could have made him pit, lose his spot. Wrong decision. It's the wrong decision. You can't do that. NASCAR could have stopped the race, let him come down pit road, fix the window net, let him get a spot back. Wrong decision. There's no right decision here. There's nothing that they could have done that would be right. There's nothing they could have done here that we'd be going, man, that's the way to handle that, right? I mean, would you give him a pass on any of these?
No, because what NASCAR is doing is, by leaving Blaney out, they're admitting what they did inadvertently was admit that was a phantom caution and it was wrong, and we don't want to screw this guy out of $1 million because we basically, not that NASCAR screwed up, but we had a pretty itchy trigger finger on that caution line.
Right.
And this guy thought he won the race. And normally he does win. Any other race, he wins the race. We have special rules, and I'm sure those rules were sent out to all the teams.
How many of them read them? That's the problem.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe the drivers should keep their window nets up for half a lap before they bring them down.
Yeah, I mean, would you, if NASCAR would have costed $1 million, if they'd made him pit, would you be pissed? Let me ask this.
Yeah.
Would you be more mad over that than what happened?
See,
because I think what happened, I agree with Denny Hamlin. I think what happened is a big screw up.
I think anybody screaming safety can kiss my butt.
Really?
Because we're racing at the Indy 500 with cars with nothing over the
James,
over
we won't take the windshields out of these cars at a dirt track because it's too dangerous.
Oh, Eric, I know.
But we're running 190 miles an hour without a window net.
I hear you. But NASCAR, again, doesn't really care about that. They don't. They just don't. And it's just, yes, it's a safety issue.
Right
but
answer.
There isn't. No, you can't argue either way.
Honestly, you know what I think the right answer was? The right answer was to say we screwed up. The race is over. The caution shouldn't have come out. The race is over. We're done.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, that is the best decision here.
You could have pointed to the checkered flag was waving.
Yeah.
And you took the flag. You could have said that, even though there's probably a rule against that. But you could
Right.
say, hey, the checkered...
I mean, honestly, it's the All-Star race, so rules don't mean anything.
I wouldn't even have been mad if they would have brought him down pit road, fixed it, and sent him back out in the lead.
See, I would have had a problem with that because I know that Mark Martin did it during a points-paying race, and it was a different situation, but man, that Mark Martin thing sticks with me.
When he pitted?
Yeah, when he pitted in the lead.
Oh, Denny Hamlin was using that today on his whatever soapbox that he's on now.
If NASCAR would have said the race is over, do you think Denny Hamlin would be upset?
No, because he had $1 million.
No. I mean, if they would have waived the caution, but then said no, we screwed up. Caution wasn't out. Race is over. Blaney took the checkers. It's done. Do you think Denny would be upset?
Yes, of course. He's always.
Do you think so, or do you think everybody? The claim is that everybody thought the race was over. So, I don't know, man. I don't know,
man. I don't know. I don't think so.
I feel like NASCAR screwed up. But I'm having a hard time figuring out where they screwed up.
Well, the whole thing was a screw up.
Yeah, the race is a screw up to begin with. First of all, I'm a big proponent of race to green to the end. But after watching this, I'm thinking maybe not. Maybe what we've got works pretty damn good.
Or, I know it's the All-Star race and we want different rules, but when you're coming to the checkered flag, make the rule the same no matter what the race is.
Yeah.
Whether it's the yellow flag, you have to take whatever. If we have the current, regular season playoff race format, a normal points paying race, if that's the rule, that's the rule. Make the last lap the same all the way around. But
we did just say that the All-Star race was a place to test things, and we learned all these things that we've incorporated into the season because we used them in the All-Star race.
Boy, have we ever.
Hey, man, I thought you liked stage racing. I thought we were good with stage racing.
Stages are... Yeah, stages are fine. Double file restarts were fine.
I mean, I know the 550 Aero package sucked, but I think what we got now is pretty good.
You can remember the things that are working because we're incorporating them now, but there's a lot of epic
Would you
failures
give
out
up
there.
what we have right now to go back to the Gen 7 car with 800 horsepower?
Yes.
Really?
I would.
You would?
Yep.
I don't think I would. I think I'd keep what we got.
Yeah, I think I would. I'd like to see that.
I don't know. I just don't think the Gen 7 car was ever that good.
It had its moments.
Yeah. I don't think it had enough of them.
Maybe not.
I don't think it had enough of them. I do think that this car might be spoiling us a little bit into thinking that every race is going to be a barn burner.
Oh, if I want to see this car start performing on short tracks.
Yeah.
Then maybe I'll come around.
I mean, maybe it's a good thing it didn't perform on a 1.5-mile track, so now we don't have false hope. But man, this race,
Texas is just broken.
I have the solution, James. I tweeted about it today, which Slapshoes actually one-upped me. But I was going to say tonight that why don't we just run the All-Star race on the freaking quarter mile on the front stretch?
Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, run it on the quarter mile. We did it already with the Clash. We ran on a quarter mile track. It'll work just fine. Let them rough each other up and slam into each other, and we're good. Slapshoes pointed out that you could always extend that first turn down into the end of pit lane and turn down there and then use the quarter mile.
Yeah.
Either way, yeah, let's do that.
These cars will turn.
Yeah. Forget this freaking... Nobody thought that this was going to be a good race, really. I mean, we were hopeful, but nobody really thought this was going to be a good race, right? Texas sucks, man.
No, I was trying to ignore it, honestly. And, I want to... I mean, we do this podcast because we want to share the love of NASCAR with our, because we love it. But there's just certain things that we just... You can't love everything.
If you guys think we're negative at all, you should. It's a good thing we don't record the podcast like Jeff Gluck does, because right after the race,
oh boy, yeah,
last night would have been rough. I've calmed. Yeah. Usually by the time we record this podcast, especially by Tuesday, I'm starting to become more positive again. I'm not a real positive person, but I'm positive for NASCAR because I want it to be successful.
Yeah. Well, when you got Dale Jr. involved and he's not happy.
Yeah, right.
No, you really screwed up because he's always carrying the flag.
Yeah.
For NASCAR. So.
Yeah.
I don't know, Eric. It's just man, it sucks because if this race actually is exciting, you're gonna forget about it and you're gonna move on.
Right.
But
the problem is we just hype this thing up. Like every year we get all this hype for this great freaking race and we just don't get it.
No, I know.
I mean, when was the last good All-Star race?
Yep.
I can't think of it. I know I mean, obviously 92 was good. I know there's been at least one or two since then, but I don't remember them.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, there's only a handful that stick out to me that really made a difference.
And who the hell thought a 50-lap run to the finish was a good idea?
Yep. Yep.
I don't know, but Marcus Smith says that it's just the vocal minority that are throwing a fit and that most people loved it. So.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, guys, if you don't want the All-Star race at Texas Motor Speedway, it's going to be back here next year. They were advertising tickets at the track, and Marcus Smith, the way he talked today, it's coming back, guys.
Sounds like it.
Unless NASCAR steps in and pulls the plug, it's coming back to Texas.
Yep.
So, yeah, we saw more tire issues in this thing, James. We discussed this a little bit last episode or maybe 2 episodes ago.
Last episode because we've had a ton of tire problems.
So the only thing I'm going to say about this, and I tweeted this as well, we had this really great invention that they came up with when they went to the radial tires in NASCAR with the interliner, where if your tire goes flat, there's still something there to keep the car from completely losing control. And we saved a lot of cars. We saved a lot of injuries. We saved a lot of big wrecks with the interliner. And I don't understand why. I do understand why, because we have this low-profile tire and they can't fit one in there. But I don't understand
dumb tires with one lug and they're giant rims.
I don't understand why it's so important to go to this tire that we have to get rid of one of the greatest let's get rid of the safer barrier too while we're at it. I mean,
yeah.
I don't understand why we got rid of the interliner at these big tracks.
Yeah.
Ask Kyle Larson, man, that tire goes down, you go freaking straight.
Yep.
I don't get it.
Cars can't get rolling and they're hitting the wall a ton, and
90% of the problems we've had this season are not there if we have an interliner.
And tires are falling off because of the one lug thing too.
Yeah, well,
which is another thing.
I don't know. I'll tell you, who was the common denominator last night with lugs or loose wheels?
Go for it.
Is that 23 car again? How many wheels have they lost this season?
That team.
I don't know.
That team. That team is just all over the place.
I'm complete 180 from a couple weeks ago because I'm not going to blame it on Bubba anymore. That team is just killing him.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin has said as much too.
Yeah,
and they've said they've let their drivers down quite a bit. So
he's got a good car and just keeps getting screwed on pit road.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't like the fact that we don't have interliners. I don't have a problem with having some tire issues though. I do want to see attrition. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. That wreck, man, the Cowbush wreck. Yeah, holy crap, man, was that just insane? Like you said, that was an IndyCar wreck.
It was an IndyCar wreck, and then poor Chase Elliott he hit the wall a ton too. He's just a bystander in that. There's not much he can do there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was an whole, because I was watching the race kind of in the background. I had it on my phone and I was watching something else, and all I said was "Holy bleep!" Yeah, I think
those words came out of my mouth too.
And I had to turn the volume up on the TV because I'm like, "Holy smokes, that was a big one."
I believe I had the Nintendo Switch and I was doing other stuff on that because the race was horrible, and even though my driver was leading, it was still horrible. And then that happened, and all of a sudden your
driver's not leading, and he's coming down the track, and Chastain goes sky high. That was crazy.
I mean, nothing anybody could do there, right? It was a racing deal.
Yeah, Kyle coming down. I don't think Kyle's fault.
Yeah, I don't think you can fault him though. Again, these cars.
Yeah, and
you lost a wheel basically.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if anybody could have done anything different. Like Ross really had nowhere to go. Could he have loaded up and gone high? I mean, that's easy for me on,
Right.
armchair quarterback, saying, hey, you could have done this.
Somebody who's never been in one of these things.
Yeah, like how can you place blame when the cars are going that fast? You know, there's really no blame to be had. Racing accidents happen, and sometimes they look like that, and you're like, holy smokes, man.
Yeah, and there's people said that we've never seen a crash like that. We've seen a crash like that. We had an Xfinity car flip at Dover once, running up the back wheel of a car.
Yeah.
Clint Boyer got airborne at Dover once, doing the same thing. I mean, it's just a matter of if those tires connect.
Yeah.
It's no different than an open wheel car, and especially with these composite bodies, it allows a little bit more bend and might allow those wheels to get together a little bit more.
Yep.
But I mean, it was an incredible wreck. Fortunately, everybody walked away from it. Justin Mark was on Sirius this afternoon and talked about the cost that these teams have had this year. NASCAR really, really sold that this was going to be a money saver. And he said they're overspending what they were expecting. They're not spending any less than they were before. He said the equality is there, but these parts are expensive and they're breaking a lot of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you? I don't know what these teams expected. Like NASCAR, these teams are going to spend, man. They're going to try to win.
Exactly. Exactly. I think the biggest problem is just that there's a shortage of parts, which has driven the cost up even more. But yeah, I mean, the teams that have money are going to spend money. It's just how it is. So.
Yep. Absolutely.
I mean, I think, is it time to just? I mean, I know the answer to this. It's just time to rip this place up and start over, right?
Yeah, they got to fix Texas somehow.
I mean, they've ruined it for IndyCar. They've ruined it for NASCAR. It's just ruined.
Yeah, they got to tear the bankings down, and I don't know what you do. Maybe you take the Auto Club model and make it a short track.
No, you know what they're going to do? If they tear it up, you know what they'll do? It'll be Atlanta.
Yeah.
They're going to make it a super speedway.
Yeah, probably.
Of course, maybe not because IndyCar races there.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. IndyCar doesn't have to stay there, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't see them doing anything. I think we're stuck with this for a while, but they put that crap down in the turns, and it has ruined this place even more than it was already ruined.
Yeah, it's terrible.
So,
I don't know. I don't know what to do with it, man. This track just doesn't produce anything anymore.
No.
And it used to be.
Well, I mean, and I will say the Xfinity race was decent. The truck race was good. You know, it just doesn't work for the Cup cars, I guess. I mean, IndyCar did have a great race there earlier this year. Was it this year? Yeah, this year.
Yeah, this year, yeah.
Previously, it hasn't been good the last few years.
That's when Jimmy Johnson showed his stones and was flying around the outside.
Right. He's third fastest at Indy again today.
Eric, he's going to win the Indy 500.
He is. Well, we'll talk about that later. I guess we could talk a little bit about the race itself. Ryan Blaney gets the win. Does this do anything for Ryan Blaney? He doesn't have a win on the regular season. They've had good momentum. Obviously, they're second in points.
Well, his bank account's going to be very happy
right,
when he logs into his direct deposit at home. He's going to be like, "Yeah, look at that."
Right. I mean, it's a mile-and-a-half track, so that's got to bode well for the rest of the season with some of those coming up.
And they've been fast. You know, it's not like that team's been out to lunch all season. So.
What about Fords in general, James? Ironic that the race that means nothing is the one that the Fords come to the surface. You think they were testing some stuff?
I think they were, and I think everybody was probably testing some stuff.
I would hope so. I mean, that's what we've always done with this race.
Something.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, we definitely saw Fords up front. Obviously with Blaney with the win, Austin Cindric. Actually, all the Penske cars ran well. Logano finished fourth. The RFK cars ran really good too.
Yep.
Yeah, might be some things to look for going forward.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah. So 4 drivers led laps in this race, James. 84 laps by Ryan Blaney, 47 by Kyle Busch, and then Austin Cindric led 7 and William Byron led 2.
Yeah, Austin Cindric was up there.
Yeah.
I mean, you were talking about the Fords. I mean, yeah, he was having a good run. Really strong. He stole one of those segments, so that was nice to see.
I think the one that impressed me the most, James, was Daniel Suarez. You got a guy who raced in, kind of snuck in from the open, and managed a 5th place finish and ran really well through. I mean, he flew through the field to get up front in the first stage.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he was great. So was I thought Byron was pretty good. I mean, Larson was good too, but obviously the Chevys are always going to be. But I mean, the guy who was the best was Kyle Busch, and we just didn't get to see what that could have looked like.
Was he though? I mean, he was fast, but would he have done that if he got behind?
I don't know, but he was up front in clean air, he was good.
But everybody who got clean air was good. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he was the one who was kind of showing the way. Unfortunately, we won't get to see what that could have been. But.
Well, we obviously didn't get to see him in the pit crew challenge either because he was out before that.
Yep.
Joey Logano's crew takes the title for that one, gets him a 4th place finish at the end. So, I think those 2 back-to-back wrecks early with Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch going out really took out our 2 major contenders. Maybe even Ross Chastain with his wreck, involved in the Kyle Busch one, but. Kyle and Larson, I think, were the two Kyles were the guys to watch in this thing.
Yep. Yeah, and that seems to be a little bit of a trend here the last few weeks too.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy for Blaney though, because that was, I don't know, that team. Blaney, he needs a shot in the arm every once in a while. It seems like, and he can kind of get on a roll. So let's see if he can take this into the Coke 600. That would be what I would assume is that he's going to go to Charlotte this week and be really, really strong.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that he can get going because if he's one of those guys where if he can, he's just a polarizing guy in a good way.
Right.
So I'd love to see him continue to get rolling here.
Yeah, he's like the anti Kyle Busch.
He's the anti a lot of people. He was so nice after he won that race and so calm. I was like, man, I would have been so mad.
Right. It's just Blaney, man.
I would have taken that checkered flag and marched right into Steve Phelps' office. Handed it to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. James, this was a 140 lap race. And it took 2 hours and 2 minutes to run.
Too long for the All Star race.
Yeah. Especially Sunday night. It ended 11 o'clock almost.
Yeah, we had that red flag.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Too long. 8 cautions for 31 laps in a 140 lap race. Only 3 lead changes among 4 drivers in this thing. So there you go.
Texas gone.
Yeah. Well, we get to go back there once. And my prediction, James, was the second Texas race was going to be the worst race of the season. So,
boy, yeah,
it might be tough to beat this, but I guess I didn't count the All Star race because it's not a real race.
Yeah.
I don't know. For one, I wish we just simplify this thing, go back to just a race. And I don't know. It certainly needs to be somewhere else. There's got to be a better place to run this thing than Texas. Like just about any track on the circuit would be better than Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, let's take it to Bristol. Let's go to Homestead. Homestead's a great track. I know it's not an SMI track, but I don't know.
There's a lot of places we could go for sure.
Anything worth mentioning with the Open, James? We had who the hell we have get out of this thing? Suarez won the Open to advance. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. gets stage 1. Chris Buescher stage 2, and Eric Jones with the fan vote to get in. Any thoughts on the Open?
Tyler Reddick not getting out of there was interesting.
Yeah,
I thought for sure he'd be at least one of those guys. He didn't get anything.
No, just pushing it too hard and wrecked.
Yep.
So.
Yep, that was the end of his day. So I didn't feel too bad though. Kyle Larson, those were our picks. our non-points paying picks. So.
Right.
I guess he only beat me by 1 position technically. So I'll take it.
Yeah, exactly.
Could have been a lot worse.
There you go. All right. Well, that's the All Star race. We can move on from that.
Oh, we'll never mention it again.
Yeah. There were 2 other races this weekend at Texas Motor Speedway. We can start with the truck race, which kicked things off. SpeedyCash.com 220. Stuart Friesen gets a good restart at the end, gets the win. 60 laps led on the day, so pretty well dominating performance for Friesen.
Yeah, he was. He didn't win any of the stages, but yeah, he was the laps led guy. Pretty much him and Eckes were kind of dueling most of the day, and Ryan Preece was in there too. But that restart was impressive. He just took. I mean, sometimes especially in NASCAR, you get a lot of those late race restarts, and I'm going to be honest, I wasn't expecting him to do that. I just didn't think of. I don't think of Stuart Friesen as a restart specialist.
Right.
I don't know. You think of guys like Kyle Busch and Kyle Larson. Those guys can restart with the best one. I guess I never really put 2 and 2 together with Stuart Friesen, but he stole that one.
Well,
his race to lose, but
the other thing to keep in mind with Stuart Friesen is that while the truck looks the same as it was when he won his other 2 races, it's a different team. It's not, it's not GMS Racing anymore. He's got his own team. So,
yep.
I mean, they've really built something here into a competitive truck. He's been competitive, very frequently, especially this season. And to get the win, that's just goes to show that, again, that you got another team here coming up that can compete, so
when he can get to the racetrack on time.
Right.
But he's having a really, compared to his best seasons in the past, this is definitely right there now. Stats wise, he's as good as he's been, before. So
yep.
This is definitely, I'd say definitely a contender. I don't know if they're a championship contender, but he'll definitely. I mean, he's in the playoffs now.
Yeah.
So
I'd say he's a threat to get to the Final Four.
Yeah, he's probably there. Yeah. I wouldn't disagree with you there.
I mean, I don't know. It's tough. There's a lot of pretty decent competition up towards the top of the rung here in the Truck Series, and some guys that you kind of expect should be there. So it's not going to be easy for him to get there, but I wouldn't bat an eye if he's in the Final Four.
I mean, right now he's a top 4 guy. He's in look, if you look at the point standings, Nemechek, Rhodes, Chandler Smith, Stuart Friesen,
right.
Zane Smith, Zane Smith too. I mean, those guys are all Ty Majeski. I mean, that's your group right there. And I would never count out Grant Enfinger, Matt Crafton type.
Yeah.
And Carson Hocevar, who's still like looming, he's in that Chandler Smith zone where he's going to just need to break through.
Yeah, Hocevar, looming is the best way to describe it. He's right there, and once it clicks, it's going to click.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, him and Chandler Smith, it's very, very similar because Chandler Smith had that breakthrough late last year, and it's fully carried over into this year. He's definitely, if I had to pick probably the guy besides Nemechek, he's my guy. That I think will be right there with him. But great equipment, and he's taken that, he's elevated to that next step. So
yeah. Ryan Preece not running all the races this year, but gets a start here and gets a 3rd place finish.
I always forget that he's running points in the Truck Series. I gotta
right?
remember that.
Yeah, that's true. Led 3 times in the day for 27 laps. So just when he gets the opportunity, he's there. So.
He's run 4 races. He's got 4 top 10s and a average finish of 5.3 right now.
That's all you can do when you're him. I mean, that's what you got to do.
Yep.
So you mentioned Carson Hocevar, 4th place finish for him. Right there again. Led 4 laps on the day, but right up there. John Hunter Nemechek led 14 laps. He gets a 6th place finish. One driver I wanted to single out in this one that ran really well and got taken out, ended up finishing last, but not of his doing. Derek Kraus has been, from a guy who hit everything that moved last year, he's been very steady this year and done very well. Just doesn't always have the results to show for it. And this one he got hosed because he got taken out in this one.
Yeah.
So, Haley Deegan, top 20, ran better than what we've seen. She qualified well, but still kind of fell back into the grips in the same area where she's been running. So,
yep.
I don't know. I don't know if that's a Haley issue or if it's a truck issue. I know Haley did talk a lot last week on Door Bumper Clear just about how much she's having to learn these trucks, and I think it's showing.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. It's just it's a struggle. I mean, we've talked about it before, but it's just something to keep an eye on. But if she's on the lead lap.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's good things to take away from it. So you gotta remember how young she really is, and hopefully she can break through.
She's young and she's got a lot of experience behind the wheel, but not in this type of vehicle.
Yeah, and maybe it starts to click, and she starts to, if she can go from battling from the 15th to 25th area to 10th to 15th, I think that's what you shoot for.
Yep.
You got to see that. You got to see that progression. I think she's actually improving.
Yeah, I think so.
She's finishing races now, which she wasn't doing before.
Well, I mean they talked about it on Door Bumper Clear. Where she's racing is a freaking hornet's nest.
Oh yeah, it's not great.
I mean, there's a lot of inexperience back there, and maybe some of it's her. I mean, But
well, and you gotta have grace with a driver like her too.
Yeah.
You gotta understand that she's gonna mess some stuff up, and it's sometimes gonna be her fault. Sometimes it's gonna be lack of experience, and she gets herself in situations that maybe aren't her fault, but she's there. So there's gonna be a lot of that going on.
she's got arguably one of the best guys in her ear too, with TJ Majors. Can really help her out there too. So
yeah, exactly. Eric, I picked Zane Smith in our picks.
yeah,
and,
I know. How'd that work out for you?
Well, it was looking pretty good until that flat tire with a few laps left. And
I was so freaking happy.
I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I was like, no, that was my pick. After he dominated the week before.
When he had the tire go down, and then then the Xfinity race, I'm like, oh man, Gregson's running so well, and then Gregson wrecks, and I'm like, yes.
Unbelievable bad luck.
Yeah, it was terrible.
At least I got stage points to salvage some things. But
right,
man. Yeah, Zane Smith. Woof.
Yeah.
Not my day. Not my weekend. Apparently.
Right. Let's see. Anything else to mention with the Truck Series race? We mentioned Stuart Friesen's third victory. Corey Heim was our highest finishing rookie in 7th place. Friesen is a 26 different NASCAR Camping World Truck Series winner at Texas Motor Speedway.
There you go.
That's the NASCAR stat that was thrown at us this week.
They were digging deep for that one.
I guess so. NASCAR Xfinity Series ran on Saturday. It was the SRS Distribution 250 late sponsorship
late
title
entry.
for that.
I put it in as the Texas 250.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm just gonna leave it.
Those damn Cup guys come in and ruin the show. Tyler Reddick, William Byron, stealing the show away here.
Stunk up the joint. Well, and honestly, Eric, your pick, Josh Berry, was really strong, and then wrecked everybody.
Well, I mean, him and Noah Gragson were the two to watch, and they both wrecked in the same crash.
I really wish you and I could have went head to head with those two guys, because that was actually looking like a pretty good race. And then Josh Berry's car, kudos to that team, because he got hit pretty good.
Yeah. 7th place finish.
Yeah, they got back to a 7th place finish, 40 points on the day. Cliches are what they are, but that's a championship level run right there. That's how you do it right there. That's old school stuff. I love to see that.
Yeah. Worth mentioning Big Machine Racing. That's the first win for that team for Tyler Reddick.
Tyler Reddick. Yep.
So very cool. We've had a couple of teams get their first win in the Xfinity Series this year, so that's cool.
I was excited to pick Tyler Reddick for the All Star race. I just picked him one day too early. Honestly, right. I should have just taken the loss of 0 points and picked him for this one.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping maybe this would give him some momentum, but it sure didn't help on Sunday.
No, it did not. No.
Anything else we mentioned? I mean, the wreck. Ty Gibbs got taken out in that, or affected in that as well. That one really changed. Restart. It really changed the race. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was a. You mentioned a hornet's nest and towards the back of the pack, but man, restarts in NASCAR are so fine. Like it is an art form that these guys race like they do off these restarts, and sometimes it's going to bite some guys, and unfortunately it got Barry and Gregson and Ty Gibbs. I mean, you take out kind of like the All Star race, you take out some really heavy hitters when you're talking about those guys in this series. So. That was definitely a game changer for the entire day, which kind of opened the door for a Reddick and a Byron, guys who just aren't going to get in trouble in an Xfinity Series race. They're going to get their way through it. So, I thought Justin Allgaier was super strong all day. He led a bunch of laps.
I mean, those JRM cars again. Sam Mayer finished third.
Yeah,
William Byron was in a JRM car. I mean,
they're really fast, really fast. I mean, you're talking Chevrolet with the win. And then the JR cars, all top 5. You got Richard Childress there in 5th with Austin Hill, and then Josh Berry with a damaged car coming in at 7th. So
Austin Hill sneaking in there. I mean, quietly with a 5th place finish. Ryan Truex is a 6th place finish. Ryan hasn't had a lot of opportunities in that 18 car, but certainly made the best of it on Saturday.
Yep, absolutely.
Landon Castle finishes 10th place with a torn up race car after hitting the wall.
The Xfinity Series cars are, they're sturdy.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I mean, this is, I guess,
composite bodies.
It's what we wanted for the Cup Series. The Cup Series has the composite bodies too, but they've got those freaking toe links that break.
Yep.
These Xfinity cars are rock solid.
Yep, absolutely.
So, let's see. NASCAR's put these stats so damn far down on the thing here. I got to scroll all the way down. I mentioned Big Machine Racing's first NASCAR Xfinity Series victory. Austin Hill was your highest finishing rookie in 5th place. Tyler Reddick, this was his 10th victory in 93 NASCAR Xfinity Series races. He's a 23rd different Xfinity winner at Texas, James.
Wow, well, there you go.
AJ Allmendinger posts his 12th consecutive top 10 finish to start the season. He's now tied with Elliott Sadler for 3rd most consecutive top 10 finishes to start a season. Sam Ard has 23 in 1984, and Regan Smith has 13 in 2014.
There you go.
That was NASCAR at Texas. We can put that in the rearview mirror for a while.
That's right. Out of there. Let's get out of there.
I mean, at least we didn't have to wait till Wednesday to run a race because of rain. So
that's right.
Could have been worse.
Yep.
You could wait half the week for this garbage. Not a whole lot in the news. However, Adam Stern out stirring the pot a little bit this week. Denny Hamlin's threatening to stop investing in NASCAR unless the business model changes. That was one of the things Denny said this week.
Stop investing more in NASCAR, or stop investing altogether?
Denny Hamlin told Jim France in March that until he and his partners see a change in NASCAR's business model, all further major investments in 2311 racing are on hold.
I mean, what does that mean?
I was going to ask, who the hell is Denny Hamlin? I mean, I don't know. I know that's kind of what Stern's article is about, a Sports Business Journal. You do get a few free articles if you click on them eventually. You have to subscribe to read it. But I mean, that's what the article is essentially, that some people are real happy with Denny being outspoken and some people are like, dude, just zip it and get out of our way.
Yeah. I think what people need to realize with Denny Hamlin, though, they may not like that he's doing these moves, these power plays. He's also technically the richest owner in the series now.
Yeah.
They have more backing than any other owner.
Here's the thing. Denny Hamlin is fighting the youth movement. He wants the youth to get into this sport. That's his argument, is we need to attract young people. But Denny Hamlin's 41 years old, and I'm not saying that he's old because I'm 40, but he's not young.
Yeah, that's spring chicken, right?
Like I don't think his age is what we're worried about watching the sport. I think you and my age are still watching the sport. It's the younger guys that aren't.
Yeah.
I mean, NASCAR made a valiant effort of trying to create a show with their. Oh, we didn't even talk about the freaking qualifying joke.
I don't even want to go there.
I mean, I guess they made an attempt, James. They had fireworks every time the cars took off.
I don't know if my sarcasm came through in the messages.
Yeah, right. It was garbage, just like the rest of the weekend. But I don't know.
Anyway, guess we didn't leave Texas in the dust.
I just don't know that Denny's the spokesperson that we need, or maybe the way he's handling it is the way we need it. I don't know. I don't know.
You know what, Eric? Here's the thing, too. I guess, if not him, who?
I guess my thing, James, is I like Denny Hamlin being outspoken. I like the fact that Denny Hamlin has no filter, but I don't think Denny Hamlin. I think Denny Hamlin's taking himself too seriously in doing it.
He really is putting on a face.
He's kind of like the jester on Twitter, but now he wants us to get behind him and take him seriously.
I gotta imagine too, Eric, because Rick Hendrick, Joe Gibbs, Roger Penske, those guys are okay with the NASCAR business model because they've been doing just fine for a long time.
That's true.
So I can see where somebody new wants to come in and rattle the cage, and Tony Stewart didn't even really do that.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I just don't. I get that
but
he's got a long career in the Cup Series, but as a second-year owner, I don't think it's your place to do it.
I agree with you, but
you gotta win some. You gotta win some races. You gotta be. I know he's won 2 races, but you gotta. I feel like you've got to prove yourself in the sport a little bit more than just having, a rich NBA champion behind you.
Right. I get that. But I also,
because we've seen, not to cut you off, but we've seen a lot
no,
of
go ahead.
rich celebrity figures from outside of NASCAR come in and throw a bunch of money in the sport and then leave.
Right.
That
Yes,
doesn't just
absolutely.
because you're coming in here with a bunch of money doesn't
Right.
give you the right to just change things up. I don't know. And don't get me wrong. I think the NASCAR business model is flawed. I think there's an issue there and it needs to be
absolutely.
fixed.
Yeah.
I just don't know. And I don't have a problem with Denny Hamlin being part of that fix. I just think the way he's being too brash, and I guess it's Denny Hamlin, and what can you expect?
Yeah, and I think too, Eric, we're not used to people in his position doing that either.
Yeah.
He's, Kyle Busch is that way in the Truck Series. I mean, he's out there with his T-shirts
That's
saying
true.
the most expensive day of the year.
That's true.
Like,
Ironically, both of them run for the same team in the Cup Series. So.
right? I think maybe it's just the age difference. They're not coming in as,
Maybe, but Kyle is different because Kyle has he's a successful team owner
yeah,
that's been in the sport for how many years?
yeah. And I say that, and Brad Keselowski's not really doing that.
No.
He's kind of old school. He's just kind of trying to compete, right? So I get.
I
where
just
Denny's
think it's too early for Denny to be the guy.
Yeah, but again, Eric, if not now, when?
When you've
know what I
proven
mean?
yourself as a team owner.
It's that
Justin
team
Marks has
won.
proven himself more than Denny Hamlin is, and he's not doing this.
Well, I mean, they got the same amount of wins.
Yeah.
So,
But again, I mean, I don't know.
I get.
It's
Denny-
Denny. It's Denny, and Denny's going to rock the boat. I mean,
Well, and Denny, this job, NASCAR team owner or minority owner or whatever he is, that's his career.
yeah, no, I agree.
He's got 40 years ahead as an owner if he wants, and he's only got 5 years maybe as a Cup Series driver if he wants.
Well,
I mean,
I don't think he's being malicious or anything either. I think he's got good intentions.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It just feels like it's coming out of nowhere.
He
and
wants
it's just
to
too
be
early.
He wants to be a power player.
He's not even a champion.
I know.
He hasn't even won a Cup Series championship.
I know.
I mean, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, he definitely is, right? He's definitely gets on the first ballot.
He's got all the trophies.
Yeah, he's got how many 500 wins? I mean,
3 Daytona 500s, and
he's got the cars in his living room to prove it.
He's gonna win 50 races in the Cup Series here in a couple more wins. I mean, he's right there on that. So
I don't know.
Yeah, it's
maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he's what we need. He makes it more interesting. He's giving us something to talk about.
Well, I mean, okay. I'll do that. I'll pull the James move. This is one of the classic James moves. But you think about F1 right now.
Yeah.
I know how much you hate comparing NASCAR and F1.
Very much.
I know. But give me a little bit of runway here.
Okay.
Some of the biggest stars in F1 don't even drive the cars. Your Toto Wolffs, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's kind of Denny's thing here too. The team principal style. He's just brash and he's going to say what he's going to say, and that's kind of his job with the team. He's that leader, leader by example, leader with the words, in the media. And maybe he's kind of pulling from that playbook a little bit here as well. So, you think about that maybe a little bit, but he's definitely not going to come in like Rick Hendrick.
Right.
Denny doesn't. Eric, what else does Denny Hamlin have as a job?
Yeah.
Like think about Roger Penske, right? Penske
right.
Rentals.
Yeah.
Penske
leaves
Hendrick
NASCAR.
Cars.
He's fine.
Yeah, Hendrick Cars.
Yeah.
This is a Brad Keselowski. I'm stealing this from Brad Keselowski because Brad, remember, shut down his team to start an aerospace manufacturing company.
Right.
Which is still going, by the way. Now he's back in as an owner. Same thing with Joe Gibbs. They have a legacy of a bunch of other things that they've got going on, but again, this is Denny's career, so I'm okay with him taking it seriously. But I do agree with you that he's rattling the cage just to rattle the cage. I think we're gonna get an article like this every year from Denny Hamlin about being upset about something. But yeah, I mean, if Eric, if he does get the NASCAR business model to start changing, that's a good thing though, right?
In theory, I mean, it probably is. I mean, not necessarily. I mean, yeah, I think it needs to change, but it doesn't necessarily have to change the way that Denny Hamlin wants it to change. I guess I don't know what Denny's solution is, so I can't really answer that question. I don't know. I just feel, I think my biggest thing is that I just don't feel that he's proven himself enough yet to be that guy, to demand to be heard. I don't think he's done enough to demand to be heard.
I agree with that.
And I mean, I'm saying this about a guy who's, one of the top drivers in the sport and, a first ballot Hall of Famer, but as a team owner, he's just not there yet.
Yeah.
So,
but what he's done as a team owner though, it should be commended.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bringing in Michael Jordan.
I don't disagree, but I would be much more comfortable with Tony Stewart coming in and doing this than I am Denny Hamlin doing it.
Tony's got other things going on now, Eric.
I know Tony's too busy with drag racing, or SRX or whatever else he's doing.
Yeah.
So, whatever's interesting this week for Tony.
It really is. He is really.
Hey man,
kind of up to it.
Live your life. Have some fun.
He is living his best life.
Yeah.
He's earned it. It's fine. He's still around, just not around as much as he used to be.
I am refreshing J-Ski right now. Oh. Joe Gibbs gives an update on Kyle Busch's contract, James, hoping for 2 years.
Oh, good timing.
Hoping for 2 years in Xfinity for Ty Gibbs. So I'm going to read this word for word. This is from J-Ski, but it's from the Charlotte Observer. Gibbs, the former NFL coach who is the owner of Joe Gibbs Racing, provided an update Monday, blah, blah, blah. We're really confident that we're going to have that number 18 car squared away sponsorship-wise, and we're trying to work on our deal right now with Kyle, Gibbs said. So I think we feel good about it. Gibbs also indicated the plan for JGR is to keep his grandson, 19-year-old Ty Gibbs, in the lower-level Xfinity Series for another season. We want to be real careful, take our time, and so really our goal was to keep him in Xfinity for 2 years, so this is his first year, really. I think he's had 23 or 24 Xfinity races, so the game plan is 2 years for sure in Xfinity. Make sure we don't rush him.
Wow.
Kyle did say again in the media center that right now his career next season is set up as backup driver or testing driver, sim driver. So he's still making his cracks.
Well, did you see? So Joe Gibbs, he didn't put this in the notes, but since we're on the topic, Joe Gibbs partnering with the owner of JTG Daugherty to get him a sponsor.
Yeah.
What the heck is going on?
Well, so here's the thing. I will say, James, that of all the teams out there that has been able to make a successful sponsorship package,
sure, I
would look to that team. I mean, the deals they've got with all their brands. Look at all the brands that are on those cars every week. They took the Roush Fenway model and just blew it away with what they've done. So if you're looking to piece together a sponsorship deal that can equate to what M&M's was bringing to the table, who better to go to than JTG?
Yep. Right.
I mean, I don't know. I think, James, the days of, and I think this is something that Denny Hamlin probably will have a part of too. I think the days of everybody shopping for their own sponsors is going to go away. We're going to see something where there's more of a package deal with these teams, especially charter teams, that they get a piece of the pie and get to put the sponsors on their car, but it's not something necessarily that they're all negotiating individually, that they're negotiating as one. And I think that's going to put them in a better deal, a better position sponsorship wise too. So,
and you think that Joe Gibbs thought that the sponsorship was just going to fall into their lap, or
I don't think they're that naive, right? I mean, we know what the sponsorship situation is in NASCAR. I mean, sure, they've got a superstar, but they got to know how abrasive he is too.
Here's what I think happened. I got a conspiracy theory Jim moment for you. I think that Joe Gibbs was content letting Kyle walk at some point, and I think Toyota got really, really mad about this whole situation, and now Joe Gibbs is scrambling to get Kyle Busch back in the sponsorship.
Could be.
And I think that's why Kyle Busch was so angry about all this.
That's a good theory.
So I just think Joe Gibbs was ready to let him go.
Yeah.
He's too expensive. He can be kind of a handful. They make a youth movement move. It's hard to say because Kyle Busch is one of the all-time greats in the history of the sport. But I get a hunch that Joe Gibbs was going to let him go. And now Toyota's like, no, We are not messing up again. We've already lost Kyle Larson.
Right.
We're not doing this. Basically Toyota missed Kyle Larson twice, by the way.
Right.
So we're not doing this again. We're not letting one of our talents leave for no reason. So
Yep. No, that's
my theory.
It's very possible.
Take it or leave it.
I think.
Yeah, take it or leave it.
I think Toyota stands to lose more than Joe Gibbs does if Kyle leaves.
Yes, they do. Yeah, they do.
I mean, definitely, because you've got a team in the pipeline that could potentially come to Cup someday.
Yep.
You know, I mean, you
Yep.
you know damn well that the plans for that KBM team is to have Brexton Busch in a car someday.
Yeah, exactly, and
it should be. I mean, no fault to Kyle for that. That should be the plan.
Yeah, they want to keep being the Busch. The Busch business is a very successful racing business, Eric.
Yep.
It's resulted in 3 Cup championships and a whole bunch of wins being in the Busch business. So why wouldn't you invest in the next Busch?
Yep, exactly.
Smart. It's a smart business decision. It's a surefire bet.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. All right. Any other news, James?
Oh man, I don't think so. I'm scrolling the Twitters.
Sure, there's other stuff, but that's what we got for today. We head to Charlotte Motor Speedway this weekend. It's Coke 600 weekend. James, this is the best weekend of the year. Sunday is the best race day of the year for motorsports.
Your favorite.
Monaco is back on Memorial Day weekend this year, so that's awesome. And I got some good news because I was informed. I'm sure this will get screwed up by the time Sunday rolls around, but I was informed that there is a baby shower occurring on Sunday that my wife is going to, and the boys have been invited as well. So I am solo on Sunday, the greatest race day of the year.
You don't have to deal with anything.
No,
on that
I will
day.
be planted in front of the television watching all the racing I can stomach.
That's incredible.
I know.
That's incredible.
I know. It's my boys were born on the 20th. Happy birthday to the boys a couple days ago.
Happy birthday, boys. Yeah.
And so we've very frequently had birthday parties on Memorial Weekend. So I have been gypped out of the Indy 500 multiple times. Usually I'm good for the Coke 600, but the Indy 500 I've had to work around, and I don't have to do that this year. I get to watch Jimmy Johnson win the Indy 500 live.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
So
gonna be good,
I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm excited. Watching Jimmy Johnson be good at Indianapolis during this whole weekend has
is he going to be able to beat Scott Dixon though? Is he going to be able to beat the teammate?
Well, you know what though, Eric? Be in position.
Yeah.
Just be in position because anything can happen.
Jeff Gluck says he's not going to run well. He says he's not going to finish in the top 10.
I'm getting sick of Jeff Gluck and his. I'm just tired of it. Sorry, Jeff. I know Jeff's a big listener of our show, but
right.
No, thank you.
Well, unlike the Teardown, we're not an IndyCar podcast nor a Formula One podcast, but we are a NASCAR podcast. And we talk about all motorsports anyway. But I want to take a little dig at them. Just friendly gesture.
Yes.
Friendly gesture.
Yes.
We love the Teardown. We listen every week. Yeah, it's true. It's the first one out there, so I'm listening to it every Monday. Yep. But we get to make our picks for this weekend's races. And James, guess what, man?
I get to pick first.
You get to pick first. I finally passed you.
I tumbled all the way down the rankings.
And thanks to no cup race, no points cup race this weekend, I passed you 27 points ahead of you this weekend. So I lead by 25 now.
I looked back at it, Eric, and the last time I picked first was week 3. We are on week 16. So I had a good run.
It took.
I had a good run.
Yeah, it was a really good start because it took a long time for me to chip away at that.
Yeah.
So James, you get to pick first. Truck Series kicks things off on Friday evening with the North Carolina Education Lottery 200. Who you got for the Truck Series?
Oh, since I get to pick first, I'm going with the big ringers this time.
Okay.
I know Jimmy John Hunter Nemechek.
All right.
I'm gonna go with the heavy hitters here. And Eric, you've been crushing me in the Truck Series. You're up quite a bit, 351 to 286 on the Truck Series breakdown, and that's the difference in our point standings, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So I got to catch up right there.
Well, I'm going to take a swing this week, and I'm going to say that the monkey is finally off of his back, and I'm going to go with the Michigan boy, Carson Hocevar, as my winner here.
That's been a minute. I don't think we've picked him this season, have we? No.
I don't think so.
No.
Carson has a very good
Hocevar picks.
He has a very good average finish at Charlotte because he's only raced there once. But
well, there you
he
go.
finished in the top 5. So
Yep. Yeah, this is the first pick of Carson Hocevar in our picks pool this year.
There you go. He's starting to surface. So it's time.
Nice.
It's time.
Nice.
1.5-mile track. I think he's got a shot.
Nice. I like it.
The Xfinity Series has the Allsco 300 this weekend. Who is your pick for the Xfinity Series, James?
I will go with one of those JRM picks. I can't take Noah Gragson, so I'll take Justin Allgaier.
There you go. You
can't. I'm not going to argue with the speed at this point. Those guys are fast.
Right. Yeah. I am going to go with Ty Gibbs in this one. I believe he won here last year, if I remember correctly.
Probably right. Right.
I can't. I looked it all up before
he
the
wins
race,
all the
but
time,
I'm gonna go with Ty Gibbs. I really wanted to pick a JRM car, and Gregson's a pretty good choice, but I'm gonna go with Ty.
Yep.
And then we go to the longest race in the NASCAR Cup Series schedule, all 6 hours of it, 10 hours. I don't know how long this thing's gonna be, but 4 stages, 400 laps at Charlotte Motor Speedway is the Coca-Cola 600. Who is gonna win the crown jewel this weekend, James?
Well, Eric, last year. And this is a big one because this is the most possible points we can get in a race.
Yes, it is.
Because we get the extra stage. And last year you picked Kyle Larson and you got 70 points out of this race, and that was a game changer for our entire season.
Yeah. And I can't pick Kyle Larson this week.
you're locked out of a Larson pick. However, I'm locked out of Byron. But give me Mr. Larson to get the job done here.
Nice. I am going to say...
This mimics all of my picks from Darlington, by the way.
I am going to say that the Fords figured something out this week, and I'm going to go with Mo. I'm going with Mo, James. Ryan Blaney is my pick for the Coke 600.
Blaney. This is your third pick of Mr. Blaney this season.
There you go, and it's bit me in the ass every time, I think.
Wow, I've picked him 3 times already this year, too.
They showed me some stuff. If they put the stuff they put in at Texas at Charlotte, we should see some Fords up front. I don't know what they did. I don't know what they figured out, but they figured something out.
Yeah, and silly us, the Toyotas seem to be finding something too. Not counting the All Star race, but the Toyotas seem to have something going on there, so that's something to watch for. But
there you go.
Good, very good.
We don't have to talk about the stupid fantasy league this week. That's good.
No league this week, thank God.
Yeah.
It was so nice to watch something without having to worry about that stupid fantasy league.
I know. I had that panic before the race started. Like, oh crap, I got to make my picks. Oh no, I don't.
No points.
I'm good.
So we're good. No picks this week, but we're back. We'll be back this week.
Yeah. You got any shout outs, James?
Yeah, well, kind of. I wanted to shout out NASCAR Man RR on Twitter.
Okay.
He's just had some good stuff.
Okay.
Like he always does. But if you're not on Twitter, if you're not following NASCAR Man, just go there, find some stuff. I'm trying to think of the post. Oh, the post he tweeted out earlier today was when Hermie Sadler hired The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, to read ads for his car dealership. So
nice.
That is good. That's good stuff. He usually finds some good gems. So just pretty cool. I just wanted to shout him out, NASCAR Man. He's got a good Twitter account. It's worth a follow.
I'll have to check that out. I don't have a shout out this week. I thought I had one. I can't remember what it was, so I'm going to go shout out free this week. Check out the Dirty Mo podcast this week, though, because
there's going to be some good ones.
Denny Hamlin's on Dale Jr. Download, and I forget who the heck was on Dober Clear.
Jeff Burton.
Yeah, Jeff Burton. Yeah, and supposedly that's a good one according to...
Cussing and swearing, apparently.
Yeah, according to Junior, that's a good one. So looking forward to those. And I did get a like from Dirty Mo Media on Twitter today.
You did?
Yeah. I'm gonna
big win.
Pat
big
myself
win for
on
our
the
game.
back one. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think we've talked about the game on the podcast before, right?
Oh yes, we have. Yeah.
James and I have
basically who can get the retweets or the likes from the most famous person. Yeah. So
I can't remember. I don't lead anymore, right? Because you got a retweet or something or a reply from somebody. Because I had a like from Dale Jr.
I got Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah,
I got a comment. Right. I got a reply from Jimmy Johnson. Yeah, and then right. I've had a reply or I've had a retweet from Jeff Gordon before too.
Okay.
So I've got 11 titles right there. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I have 0 with the Dale Jr. one, but maybe it was a retweet. I can't remember. Was it more than a like? I can't remember. Anyway, you're leading now, so it doesn't matter. You got a Jackass Corner this week, James?
Oh, Scott Miller. That's it. That's it.
There you go.
Yeah, just that whole thing. I'm glad you played the audio. Go back and listen to that.
Right. My jackass this week is Fox once again. And I'm going to go to the NASCAR Xfinity Series race. And Fox, whoever the producer was, that decided it was a good time in the Xfinity race to interview Emmett Smith about how much the team is improving and how great Jesse Ouija is doing behind the wheel while they showed the car in last place, getting flown by cars lapping it.
Oh, man.
Come on, guys.
Oh, Eric, did you see Frankie Muniz?
Yes,
He's going truck racing, apparently.
I know.
He made it sound like he's just going to fly right in and be a truck series driver. Malcolm in the middle himself.
I know. I didn't want to go there because...
He's going ARCA racing. He's very...
Yeah.
He's very excited about it.
I didn't want to go there because...
Did I take you down a road you don't want to go down?
No, I don't really want to pick on Frankie. I don't want to pick on somebody for coming into our sport and maybe bringing some more attention to it. He sounds like he's doing it the right way. He's racing late models and stuff. So I don't know. He says he's going 100% into that. So we'll see. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt for now. I'll wait to rip on him until we see him and see him perform horribly. I'll be quick to rip him down then.
If you go to his Wikipedia page, it
does it list him as a race car driver?
Yeah, it does, and it's got his statistics right underneath his picture. The first thing you find out, yeah, he's 36 years old.
Huh.
Huh.
I mean, just because the guy was an actor there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I won't pick on him yet. We'll give it time.
Agent Cody Banks himself.
Yeah. Oh, and whoever created the Clint Boyer graphic on the Agent Cody Banks poster too for the Fox broadcast, that person can also be in the Jackass corner. Just Fox in general. But credit to Mike Joy for calling out NASCAR for their stupidity at the end of the race, though. He didn't hold back, man.
Mean, Mike doesn't hold back.
No, he doesn't. Mike, at this point, when you're Mike Joy, you just don't care. What are they going to do? Fire you?
No.
All right, great.
Yeah.
Early retirement.
Severance package? Okay.
Yep. I'll take it.
It'll be just fine.
James, where can people go to find your tweet storm from the race?
At James Cush on Twitter.
You can find me at TSuperspeedway on Twitter. You can find the podcast on Facebook at facebook.com/TheSuperspeedway. Our website is thesuperspeedway.com. You can find old episodes of the podcast, show notes, links to articles we discussed, past episodes, all that stuff, past race coverage, etc., etc. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, and SoundCloud, wherever you found us today. We hope you subscribe and continue to listen. This Sunday is the greatest day in motorsports. Monaco Grand Prix, Indy 500, Coca-Cola 600. I'm sure there's some other motorsports stacked in there somewhere too. Grab yourself a beer, sit down on the couch, tell the wife you're busy, and watch racing all day long.
And I'll say good luck with that.
Yeah, right? We'll be back next week to break it all down. We will be back next week to congratulate the newest Indy 500 winner, Jimmy Johnson. If you don't know, I'm cheering for him this weekend. I'm ready. It'll be good. It'll be good.
It's time.
Yep. We'll break down the Coca-Cola 600 and all the NASCAR action from the weekend. Until then, everybody, let's go racing.